becomes our prayer. And here we are in this wonderful place together, open and receptive to whatever it is Spirit has in mind for you and for me to realize today and to be benefited and blessed by today. We have been looking in this month of January at the fundamental basic principles of science of mind. So we have already looked at and endeavoring to, embody that, the understanding and the realization that life is the very essence of all that is. Life is spirit. Spirit is first cause. And out of that grows and flows all of creation. Spirit, the creator of it all. And then we looked at the way life works, and we realized that the way life works is through its law of mind, its law of movement, its law of motion. We realized that spirit is love personified, but law is the way through which that love works, manifests, and expresses itself. And so we see that spirit, the creator, the idea producer, and soul, the womb of creation, the law itself, have this beautiful relationship. They're one and the same thing, but there's two aspects going on at the same time. There is this decision that's made, and then there's the movement upon the decision. And that's what happens between spirit and soul. And then because of that, the resulting action of that is the embodiment or the body, the third aspect of this process, which is all of creation, or in other words, everything that is a material form. So this invisible action that occurs between the spirit and the soul produces this material creation. And that's the process of how spirit creates through its self-contemplation and the movement of its law upon it. And here's the thing. That's exactly how you and I create too. There is no difference. The only difference is the degree of consciousness we bring to bear in the creative process. So as spirit is, so too are you, so too am I. That's how I am the image and likeness of my source in the creative process, in the way that I create and everyone else creates. That's how we are alike. The same empowerment is with me. All power is available to me depending upon how ready I am to embrace as much of that as I can. And that's the amazing science of mind and spirit in a nutshell. And so today what we're looking at is, we've looked at the life itself, the way it works, and what it does. Now, what does it do? What does life do? That's what we're looking at today. We're looking at what life does through the combination of those two first aspects that we have addressed. So what life does is it expresses itself. Life expresses itself. The great universal cosmic life, infinite intelligence itself expresses itself, and you, as an individualized expression of it, what do? You express yourself, just in the same manner, in the same way. So the question for you and for me today is, what in Hay's name am I expressing? What is it I'm expressing? Is what I am expressing, that which I'm jazzed about, delighted about, makes me feel good, makes everybody around me feel good? Is my expression such of spirit that it's a great good thing? Not just for me, but for everything and everyone else too. That's what I have to ask myself today. That's what I get to ask myself today. And so I get to hone in very carefully on the creative process of life. So it involves my conscious awareness of how life works through consciousness, through the movement of thought on consciousness, through then the molding of that thought by the law of life itself, the law of mind itself, corresponding exactly and perfectly to whatever it is I am contemplating and thinking deeply enough, strongly enough, powerfully enough, continuously enough for it to drop down into the deeper mind of me, where it will be corresponded to by the law. And that is a beautiful, powerful process. When I have dropped down into my inner mind something wondrous, something grand, something glorious, something good. And so I'm going to have the benefit of that. Always I get the benefit of what I have been contemplating and what I have dropped down into my deeper mind. I get that. So, having done that so well, there it is, this great and glorious, grand, beautiful, wonderful experience that I've always wanted, and here it is now. Or, there it is, this crashing, pounding headache, this burning stomach ache, or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. The law is beautiful in the way it responds to me perfectly. It is my perfect servant. It gives me every single thing I think up, and I support with my thought and with my feeling. And it never fails me, ever. It always, always comes through for me. So, the challenge is to be mindful. What do I have to be mindful of? I have to be mindful of whatever it is trending in my mind, whatever I'm downloading into the deeper mind. I have to be mindful of that. We can consider our thoughts and our ideas and our beliefs as say, a DVD. Okay, so here's the DVD, and everything on it is what I'm thinking and feeling and so on and doing. And then, what am I doing? I'm dropping that DVD into what? Into my computer, into my deeper inner mind. I'm dropping it in there. And then what happens? It comes up on the screen of my life. And the screen of my life is what produces all my life's experiences. And there it is. Simple, very easy process. The difference between the way it works within me as an individualized expression of spirit is there are no impediments to it. The disc never gets stuck. The screen doesn't stop working ever. You know, the law always functions magnificently, unlike my computer. However, what we have to ask ourselves now is, what is it indeed? What is it that I'm thinking? What's going on in my mind? What am I conjuring up? What am I cooking up in my mind just now? Because let me tell you, whatever you throw at the law, it's going to pitch it right back at you. And we better be very careful, sure, that our throwing and our pitching is wondrous and brings about the great result that we want, that we desire. We really, truly do. Now, how do I go about now creating for myself a much more fulfilling life, a much more advancing life, an expanded life, a life that I'm enjoy about, a life that I'm happy about, a life that makes me feel good about it when I think about it? How do I go about that? It's the same way as we always have known to go about it. I first of all create for myself the mental equivalent of an idea. I have to get that idea perfectly clear, perfectly straight in my mind. I have to see that idea. That will come to me anyway. I'm not going to create it. I'm not going to force it. I cannot force it. I cannot create it. It moves into my mind, and there it is. I see an idea. It's an idea that wants to express itself through me. All right, I look at the idea, see oh yeah, that's a great idea. I love that idea. It's a perfect idea. So then what do? I create the photograph, the collage of it. I do the prototype of it in my mind. I set it all up. I create it all there, and I have it perfect. It's there. I look at it. I see every detail. Every detail is wondrous to me. And there it is. I step back, and I look at it, and I size it up. I might do a little bit of adjusting, and there, the perfect thing. I've created the perfect prototype. It's ready to be worked upon. It's ready to go into production. How do I put it into production? Then I decide that's it. And I'm saying yes to it. I'm owning it. I'm claiming it. I'm going to support it. I said yes to it. Now, the way I support that is to keep When it comes to my mind, keep saying yes to it. Keep seeing it as I saw it in its pristine state. Keep owning it, keep claiming it, and keep it going active until I feel it. I feel it in my very bones eventually. My gosh, this is great, this great good thing. And the feeling of it, the conviction of it, is what gives me the energy to assume then the feeling of this desire already fulfilled. So I've assumed that this is so already, because it is. It is so on the invisible side of life. All of my good is available and present to me all of the time, eternally, on the invisible side of life. And the way I flesh it out is through this process. And so I feel that. And then when I'm feeling that, I think the way I would think if it was already materialized. I feel the way I would feel if it was already materialized. I act as though it was already materialized. I keep supporting it. I keep backing it up, even when the doubts set in, and they will set in. Even when I'm thinking, what were you thinking? You know, what makes you thinking? No, I saw it's perfect. It's vision there before me. I'm not going to let that go. I'm not going to dissipate the vision by not supporting it. I will support it. I will affirm it. I will see it through. And you keep going back to that, and above all, tell no one about it until it is firmly rooted in solid soil. Firmly rooted in solid soil, and it's coming and it's growing and it's moving, and you see it and you know it's so. And then be very, very careful about the one or two people you just might share that with, because there's always the outer world that's going to say to you, what were you thinking? I mean, who do you think you are? I mean, look at all the other things you've tried and didn't work. What are you wasting your time for? Stick at what's sensible, stick at what's sure. You know, you can't be doing, look at the age you are now. It's not as if you were 20 anymore. That's why you don't do that. And it's usually your loved ones who do all of that to you. And so you keep in the sense and sensibility, in the feeling of it, in the picturing of it, and you open yourself up to whatever suggestion comes to you. And it may seem strange at times, but doesn't matter. Follow through on it. Try it out. You never know. You just never know. But the process is what's important, and every step of the process is important. It's so extremely important for us all to be able to do this. And remember, you are empowered with a word that's filled with power. And the word is the idea. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. The Word was God. And the Greek translation of the word is logos, and logos means thought. In the beginning, thought. In the beginning, thought. And thought was with God, and thought was God. It's empowered. You're empowered. Your word is empowered. And you cannot be stating your word for the good that you desire while all the time you're thinking and focused on the fact that it's absent in your life just now. You cannot believe and disbelieve at the same time. We daresn't do that. We really have to stop allowing ourselves to be controlled by outer appearances and suggestions, and allow ourselves to be empowered through inner realization. That's what we need to do if we want to truly, truly see our good through. And the good that I'm talking about is the good that you vision and see, the good that you're prompted. And life is telling you, look, you could be this, it could be that. You could experience the other. Are you sure you're okay with where you're stuck right now? Do you want to stay stuck where you are? I mean, that's all right, your decision if you want to. But you don't have to stay stuck there. Or you don't have to settle for that. You sure you want to settle for that? Are you really settled? I don't think you're really settled. I think there's more for you. Don't you think there's more for you? You could experience much, much more. But you must put the work into it. Remember, the way it happens is the thought moved upon by action. Action. The law of mind is, and here's the thing, ignorance of the law is not going to save you or me from its effects. Ignorance of the law will not save us from the effects of the law. So we better jolly well be mindful and know what we're doing. What I often love to do with this one, just to get it clear in our minds with regard to what we are doing, and to get a visual about it. Look, here's your idea. It's the bullseye. You want to hit the bullseye. You want to realize the bullseye. You want to have that bullseye come into your life and experience it. There it is. But you can't just look at the bullseye and say, well, there it is. Something has to happen. You have to move upon it. So you do move upon it. What do you bring to it? You have to bring, in the form of this magnifying glass, focus, attention, support, mindfulness, a feeling and a conviction, because it is the intensity of your conviction that's going to bring this on home. So here's the intensity of your conviction. It's right over the middle. It's on the bull's eye. I have to keep it there. And when I am there in this process, and I have these two things going on, and I'm centered and deeply committed, I take this light, which symbolizes the law that moves upon it, gives it its power, empowers it, corresponds to it, molds itself to it exactly. And if I can keep this thing steady, if it's not going all over the place, this focus and this attention, if it's not, or if this doesn't move over here while this is in place, I've got to keep it perfectly aligned so that the law can do its job for me and bring the puppy on home. And it will. But you see, it requires action, focus, attention, the doing of something to support it. Babies are not birthed without support. Oh, I'll just lie here and let it happen. Have a cup of tea, maybe a cigarette. This is what you have. Oh, yes, a friend of mine said to the doctors in the hospital, just let me get out of this bed and go sit over there and smoke a cigarette and it'll be okay. That was years ago, of course, when that was a possibility. So that's what you do. So you have to have all these three elements in place. You have to have the three elements aligned. You have to keep the practice up until the realization of the good that you desire. Or as I was sharing this morning, very simply put, you know, I'm often sitting there. I'm up to my ears at all kinds of things. There's a lot on my plate. I'm doing a lot. I'm in the midst, especially of paperwork or study or whatever it is, and time is getting on. I'm looking, and then coming into my eye, as I shared this morning, was this lovely cup of tea. Oh, a lovely cup of tea would help. It really would help if I had a lovely cup of tea now. And I'm there, I'm looking at the watch and say, the tea keeps coming, the tea keeps coming. I'm still getting on. I say, okay, the tea wants to express itself in my life just now. So what do I have to do to get this tea? Well, I have to get up off my derriere. I have to walk over. I have to get the kettle, put the kettle on, boil the water. I have to take out the cup. I have to take out the tea, and I have to put it all together and make the tea. And there it is, it's made, and I'm looking at it. I'm having the experience of tea. I first had the experience of tea in my head, and it was a lovely picture. It was a lovely thought. Reverend Mary knows exactly what I'm talking about. Lovely cup of tea. And then there it is in front of me, and it's all beautiful, and it's in this lovely china cup, and it, you know, the smoke is coming up. I love my tea to be hot. Hot tea, and the color is just perfect with the milk and so on. And I enjoy the experience of the tea, but I haven't embodied the experience of the tea yet. To embody the experience of the tea, I have to drink the stuff. I don't know what tea is until I drink it. I have to drink that tea and then go, oh my gosh, that's just so much God in tea form. It's just wonderful. I have now become one with the tea. The tea and I are one. And it has had a beautiful effect on me. I'm now ready, I'm energized to keep going and focused and attentive again to what I am doing. Ernest Holmes says, all you need for the demonstration of any good thing is yourself. He says, the only thing you need is yourself plus the embodiment of the principles of science of mind. So there's the key, embodiment. It's no use getting it to the last stretch, where you can see the winning post, where many of us often find ourselves, and in the last minute we lose energy or whatever it is, and the thing dissipates and somebody else passes us and they get to the winning post before we do. What we have to do is to stay mindful, singularly mindful, with the goal that we have in mind as far as the realization of an idea, the realization of something, the realization of releasing something, or the realization of receiving something, is to be mindful, is to be solid, is to be steady, is to be unmoved by any outer suggestion or appearance, and to keep stayed in that intention, because our word is spirit and is life, as we are told. I would state it in the metaphysical way by saying our word is power and it is action. And when I am powerfully active in the process, mindful in the process, then all good is indeed available to me. So what is it going to be? I mean, we can sit around saying, this is not happening, that's not happening, this is not right, that's not right, and stay at the level of the problem. But how are we going to get to the level of the solution? We take our mind off all of the problems and we put our mind on the solution, and we do the formula. We get the idea, create the prototype, we bring to bear to that the support that it needs, we back it up, we strengthen it with our conviction. The intensity of our conviction is what eventually will have it realized, and then we allow the law to do its thing and move upon it. And for that to happen, there has to be an absolute knowingness of the power in the universe greater than we are, that we are using, and that is using each one of us. We have to have a deep, unabiding faith in this power in the universe, and we have to know it is right where we are, and we get to direct it, absolutely get to direct it along the line of the good that we wish to realize. That's what we have to know, and it's not going to happen if I don't have a deep, intimate relationship with this great thing called life, the life of spirit that lives me, breathes me, moves in me, has its rhythm and beat through me, and uses me as its expression. I am its vessel. I hold the elixir of the power and the presence of spirit, and so do you, and so does every living thing. But all vessels are not equal. Some of those vessels that hold this amazing elixir could be chipped or cracked or whatever, well used and so on, could be gorgeous, could be beautiful, could be gems or gold or silver or whatever you want it to be. But because of the elixir that is within the vessel, we don't even see the vessel. We only see the elixir because it's vibing in such a way that it attracts us and draws our attention, and we don't care about the vessel. It doesn't matter. It will be itself in any vessel it chooses to be in. So you and I have to see beyond the vessels, the vessel of ourselves and the vessel of each other, and keep seeing the elixir and getting excited about the power and the presence of spirit in all of its life's aspects, all of its life's aspects. And that's a tall and mighty order, and this science of mind and spirit is certainly not for any spiritual wuss, that's for sure, because it demands us living at the level of life's highest point of view, as Emerson invites us to do. To live life at its highest point of view, it demands that of us. And it's only when we get to that level, at least 51% of the time, that this all becomes so easy, we don't have to effort at it. We don't have to struggle with it anymore. It's an automatic given thing that we just move into just naturally, because it is our natural way of being. It is our natural way of living. It is the natural, true essence of our being, and we are going with the flow of it. I'm in the flow of life, and life is flowing through me magnificently when that point comes. And that's what the invitation is here today. Correct the thinking that you have around yourself and all of life, and know yourself as spirit knows you to be. Beloved, beloved. A spirit knows you to be amazing grace. Amazing grace. A spirit knows you to be its holy ground upon which it stands. Its amazing channel of infinite intelligence that holds its elixir, its essence, its presence, and its power. So in the correction of our thought and our thinking, we have to come into the awareness of ourselves as we are first known by the creator of our being. We are the image, we are the likeness. We are Spirit's own word, its own power, made flesh, made manifest. We are as Spirit is, and all power is available to us, and it's up to each one of us to seize the day. It's up to each one of us to allow the expression of the wholeness of life to move through us with our owning it, our claiming it, our knowing it, and our saying yes to it. And that's the way it works, and that's how it can work through you and me for our agreement. And so it is.